Love this man. He's worked at the NFL Network for, we're turning 20. He joined in early 2006, right after the 2005 season was all over. I love this man. Steve Mariucci back on the Rich Eisen Show. Mooch.
We've been together for a long time, huh, Richard?
We sure have, Steve.
Well, just coming up will be my 19th Super Bowl with you guys.
Oh, my God.
And,
with us.
Can't wait.
I know. Neither can I.
And so, wait for the season to start.
Are you in your office right now? Up in
home office, yeah.
The home office. And is that the one with that photograph of you jumping in the air as Young found T.O. in the end zone to beat the Packers?
Yeah, I have that right here.
Okay. How high in the air? Is that the highest you've ever jumped to?
You know, it's like a 43-inch vertical jump, Rich, at least. I was levitated. No, it's the weirdest looking picture because my son Tyler was on the sidelines and he was down there. He's in the picture too, looking, and I was like just up in the air, like I don't know. I was probably up 12 or 14 inches, but
it's the body language you used because you knew
like the ball.
Yeah, I was about to say the ball had to go over the linebacker to get to T.O. and you knew that, so you jumped in the air to get the ball levitating as high as it needed. It wasn't Young. It wasn't Steve Young. It was you with your body language on that day.
I was like controlling the ball like a remote control, and he just had me up and over. That's kind of a throw that these guys have to learn when they throw up inside, up and over the linebackers, and it was exactly that. And it was Owens. He caught it. That was pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. All right, let's jump into this, Steve. Tonight, 2 preseason games, Texans, Patriots, and then of course the Vikings and the Seahawks, of course, on NFL Network. It's on our air this evening. What do you want to see tonight? Like, what should we be looking for tonight out of these games?
I think there's I know there's a trend going on where guys don't play their starters much in the preseason anymore, and it's kind of it's a trend, and it's headed that way. Even though there's one less preseason game, a lot of starters just will play no preseason snaps, and so I'm always looking for the young kids. I hope the C.J. Strouds of the world will play for Houston, and
they will.
Do we know if he's playing or starting?
Yeah, he's starting. He's going to be out there. He's going to be out there.
They need it, and kind of reminds me of when I was coaching the Hall of Fame game one year. There's this kid that came in at the end. Niners were playing the Patriots, and this kid for the Patriots came in. I can't remember his name. I think it was Tom something or other.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, maybe. Yeah. And he drove his team down in that game for a touchdown, and I went, oh, that's that Tom Brady kid. And so it's always fun to see the rookies and the youngsters and the new kids on the block to see if you think they're going to contribute or not. But they need it, right? They need the preseason snaps.
How did Giovanni Carmazzi look in that Hall of Fame game for you, Steve? How do you look for you?
He had a tough day at the office, and so...
Why do you do that to Steve?
Yeah, they got us, and it was the
I was going to go
Brady Bowl.
Yes,
that's what it was. They both played right at the end.
The goat farmer, the goat. You got the Patriots got the goat, and you got the.
Yeah, I mean, who started that? That was on that.
The Brady.
What was the name of that?
The Brady Six. Yep, the Brady Six.
Yeah, some producers just thought he would call him a goat farmer, and that's so far from the truth. He was a good kid.
Let's get into who you've seen. You were at the Niners camp. What insight do you have on the quarterback depth chart order when it's all said and done, Steve?
Brock Purdy was playing that day, was practicing that day.
Yeah.
And we had Kyle Shanahan on the set with us, and I asked him, because last year I was there in camp, and it was so different because Jimmy Garoppolo was banned to the other practice field. He wasn't even going to be on the team. They were going to trade him as soon as they could.
Right.
And then Trey Lance was taking every snap, or in the ones, and so much has changed in the last year, right? Because now Brock Purdy is the starter, and Kyle said he's healthy, he's ready to go. He has no limitations. So they got him on a little bit of a pitch count, which is smart. Every now and then they'll give him a practice off, so he doesn't overtire his throwing arm or his elbow or his torn UCL, but he's the starter. And so there's a battle for backup with Trey Lance, who they traded up in the draft so much to go get him, and he's battling for number 2 with Sam Darnold. It's really interesting. They've got 3 quarterbacks that are very, very capable, I think. And who knows? They might end up trading Trey Lance.
That's the question about it, Steve.
Deadline.
But what's the sense you got there that you're willing to share? Because everybody talks once the microphones come off or whatever. But
the sense about the quarterback situation.
About Lance. The fact that he, that's all you hear about him is how talented he is. The upside is great, huge ceiling, and he just needs the reps. He needs the time, and it doesn't seem like he's going to get it again. Last year was the time for him to get it, and he had to, get on a cart in his second game, and the rest appears to be history. Is it a lack of snaps or ability? Best for your
No, I don't
knowledge.
think it's ability. I think lack of snaps is really comes into play here, because his last year in college was a COVID year, so he didn't do anything.
Right.
Then he comes to the pros as a youngster, wasn't old enough to rent a car, and he didn't do anything, and so he's so far behind in terms of playing in live situations, and so they were so high on him last year, Rich. I couldn't believe it. He was going to be the next Steve Young. And it's been the injuries that gotten him. It's his ankle is he got hurt in week 2, and so the poor kid has had the injury bug. And if he stays healthy, he's big enough, strong enough, athletic, smart enough, all of it. It's just he's been hurt, and it's that simple. But you got to be available, like Joe Thomas, 10,000 snaps in a row.
Right.
You got to be available, right? And you can be you can be Joe Montana, but if you miss most of the time, you're not Joe Montana. And so, anyway, that's his deal. And you're going to see him. They're not going to play Brock Purdy, I don't think, in the preseason. So you'll see Trey Lance quite a bit in the preseason with Sam Darnold.
Okay, so then you'll get a sense of things. So then I'll ask you a game day morning type topic bar question that you then are forced to answer. Your best guess: Sam Darnold was brought in for Purdy insurance or Lance insurance, and you can't say both, Steve. You cannot say both.
Purdy insurance. This is my guess. I don't know for sure, but I think if Trey Lance plays well in the preseason, okay, because I think they know what they have in Sam Darnold. Smart guy, experienced guy. He went 4-2 with the Panthers last year. I mean, he's been around a little bit with your Jets, and and he'd be a heck of a backup, and he's a good mentor kind of guy, doesn't rock the boat. If Trey Lance can show well in the preseason, I think there were a lot of teams that liked him when he came out in the draft and had him graded as a first-round guy. And so I think teams will say, hey, look at him, he's back, he's healthy, and would be willing to give up a nice draft pick or two to go get him, because there's such a premium on having a healthy quarterback and a guy that's capable. Maybe somebody gets hurt early in the season before October, trade deadline. I think that might be they might be able to get some draft picks back.
Steve Mariucci, my colleague from NFL Game Day Morning, fresh off his Inside Training Camp tour for NFL Network, which has the live doubleheader of preseason action tonight, starting with Texans and the Patriots, 7 Eastern time, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what's the story of Bills camp that you took out of your visit there to Western New York?
First of all, let's go back to the Niners. That is such a talented team. Oh, my God. They've got blue-chip players all over the place, all right? A lot of these guys we're the highest-paid guy in the league at their position, from Trent Williams to Kittle to Kyle Juszczyk to Fred Warner to, God, Bosa. Come on. He's not in camp yet. So they think they can win the Super Bowl.
Sure.
I go over to the Bills camp. They think they can win the Super Bowl. That's a talented team. You're going to get guys, they were 13-3 and lost to the Bengals, but Josh Allen's an animal. We all know that. Good receiving core, and they added Dalton Kincaid from Utah, the tight end, the young tight end that is terrific, and drafted another offensive lineman. And they're going to have guys coming back. They were one of the best defenses in the league for sure, and Von Miller missed 7 games, and he's returning. Tre'Davious White, he missed 11 games, an all-pro guy, and he's returning. Micah Hyde missed the whole season. He's returning. DeMar Hamlin's returning, thank God.
Yep.
I mean, they have a talented roster as well. So they've just got to finish strong. They've been making it to the playoffs, and it's either been the Bengals or the Chiefs that knock them out right at the end. They're right there. They're a play or two away from going to a Super Bowl, and that was a fun team to watch, man. They're talented.
I still think it's their division to win and lose. I think it's their division. And I know that we're hard-knocksing with the Jets, and they do look incredibly talented, and just add GOAT, and they've done that with Rodgers, who looks really happy and content and healthy and ready to go. But I still think that's the Bills' division, Steve.
Yeah, I think it is. It should be. They've been there, done that. They won it 3 times in a row now.
Right.
And the Jets will definitely be better. Aaron Rodgers kind of found the fountain of youth over there. He's got a young team to play with, and he's, like you said, he's having a ball. Seemed like, and I'm a Packer fan, right? You know that, but it seems like he's really happy over there. The change of pace probably has done him some good mentally, Mm-hmm. And then Jets in Miami are going to be very, very good. I can't imagine we're talking about predicting the Patriots 4th in that division after winning it so damn many times. But that's how it stacks up right now with the rosters.
Steve Mariucci here on the Rich Eisen Show. And the Chiefs look as loaded as they come. Obviously, Chris Jones isn't there. We're assuming he returns, and we know what that means, though. But what was your sense of Chiefs camp there, Steve?
Yeah, they're another team that thinks they can go back to the Super Bowl. Heck, they played in the last 3 out of 4. And so Patrick Mahomes is as good as ever. So I asked him a question, Rich, because they've had so darn many changes with receivers coming and going over there.
Yep.
And they develop receivers, and then they're off to another team, and they've been drafting guys. And I said, how do you rhythm up with these receivers? Because you're still first in the league in passing. He says, I bring him down to Texas. Well, this summer, I brought him down to Texas for a month and a half to work out. A month and a half, Rich, and I know they're not just throwing routes and running sprints and stuff, but they play a little golf and they have some good bonding time. But these guys work, man. I mean, he's such a leader, and they do whatever he asks them to do. And of course, Kelsey's the man too. And this is a scary team for the rest of the league. Why? They played 10 rookies in the Super Bowl. This is a really young team. They started 4 rookies. And Isaiah Pacheco, he's one of the reasons that the running backs get no respect, because here's a 7th-round pick that ends up starting for the champs, and he's really a good player and at running back. And so they feel like, hey, we can do it again, just kind of stay healthy, and these 10 rookies will get better in their second year, and we'll even be better than last year.
Did Mahomes pick up the check for everyone to come to Texas for a month and a half, Steve? Did he pick it up?
You know what? I didn't quite get to that. Ask him who paid for it all.
That's the follow-up.
Because his daughter, we were doing the interview with Kimmy Checks, and all of a sudden somebody put Sterling, his daughter, in his arms during the interview, and it got cut off a little bit, and Brittany was there, and this and that, but. He probably did. He probably put him up someplace, and right. I don't know if he paid for all the beer or the lunches. I don't know, or the golf, but he said he even gave him golf lessons.
Well, I'm sure he can get a tee time.
Blast, man.
I'm sure he can get
That's
a tee
long time, though, to get together in your off season.
Steve Mariucci here on the Rich Eisen Show. A couple of coaching stories I want to hit you on. First one up: Sean Payton talking about Nathaniel Hackett's job that he took because of how poorly Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, we all saw. I mean, how many times did we talk about it with the Broncos and Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson on game day morning last year? I lost track until the firing happened. What did you make of Sean Payton's comments, Steve?
Well, first of all, we all saw it and was like, what? What did he just say? And then, thankfully, he apologized the next day. I think he felt bad. It's like, what did I just say? With no filter, just kind of talking to guys in the back room. You know what I mean? You know what, Rich? In the coaching fraternity, and Sean knows this. He's a good guy, good coach, and all that. But in the coaching fraternity, there's honor amongst thieves. I mean, you just don't rip on other coaches. You just don't do that much. You know what I mean? Unless it's really personal, or I don't know what would make you do that. But a lot of coaches have been fired, and a lot of coaches, win and lose and all of that. But it's kind of an unwritten law that you just don't criticize. And he threw his front office under the bus, and the team under the bus, and so I felt that was a little, and he knew it was uncalled for, and he regretted it right away. He said 40 minutes after I said it, he said, I can't believe I just said that, because Nathaniel Hackett is a good coach, and he is a good guy. Of course, Aaron Rodgers has his back big time, right?
Yes.
And so that was something that took me by surprise, and it was unlike Sean Payton. He's not usually like that.
And then the last story I want to hit you on before I send you on your Thursday, Eric Bieniemy's coaching style. We all know it's gruff, it's tough, it's old school, 20th century, however you want to put it. But that's now out there in the fore that Ron Rivera letting it loose. That some players have come up to him to say, "Hey, can you talk to coach?" And he's like, "You talk to him. He's just trying to coach you hard." And that folks think he's coaching players too hard. What's your assessment of it, Steve?
Yeah, I've never coached with Eric, but I've had coaching friends that have coached with him.
Like Andy, sure. Uh-huh.
And you are exactly right. He coaches hard, old school. Man, when he coached Adrian Peterson over there at the Vikings, he was on him like, whoa, and that's just his style. And so do you tone it down? I don't know.
If you're a coach,
Trey,
if you're his head,
ask Tom Coughlin to tone it down a little bit. That's different. That's not a
right. That's the HC.
Tom changed his ways a little bit, and maybe Dick Vermeil did too, to be a little bit more player friendly. But that's one of the things you kind of know that when you hire him, that he's not going to be that player's coach. He's going to be like in your face and say it like he feels. And so that's how he is. They'll work it out. He's a good coach. Have you ever had somebody, a team, a player come up to you and say, "Hey, Steve, hey, coach, can you talk to your assistant for us because he's on us too much"? I mean, how would you handle something like that if a player came up to you? I guess I have. Some coaches have their own language. Some coaches are, just soft-spoken. Some are crazy. I mean, there's all different kinds of teachers and professors and coaches, okay? Mm-hmm. And they all have to be with their own style and personality. One time I asked a guy to tone it down a bit, which was no problem. Mm-hmm. No problem. And if players, if I were Ron, and Ron's a friend of mine, and if players came to me, and if I were Ron, and they say there's an issue, I would have a conversation with Eric and just say, hey, just tone it down a hair, okay? We don't need confrontation before the season starts. Take it down from 11, because obviously when he hired him, he knew this. I mean, that's a secret. Of course. It's not a secret amongst certainly amongst us and NFL Network. You referred to the Adrian Peterson coaching. We saw that through a feature that we aired on NFL Game Day Morning at the time, and so it's well known. So it'd be kind of tough for Ron to tell him to tone it down, right? Because he knew who he was hiring. This is the guy you hire. Yeah, but you always can have a suggestion as the boss. Right. Have a suggestion how this is going to work better. And so, Eric's a good coach. He's very capable and competent. Mm-hmm. That's if he was a Magoo and he just didn't know the offense or couldn't teach very well, that's another story. But he's very capable. And so they're counting on him to run that offense and call it and game plan it. And so, sometimes doctors have different bedside manners than others, right? It's just maybe it warrants a quick conversation. Magoo, by the way, a great 70s cartoon reference right there out of you, Mooch. I like it. I like it very well done. Black and white, right? I mean, I miss the cartoons from Saturday mornings way back in the day, Popeye and Roadrunner and all those. Now we got all that Spider-Man stuff, like we dress up like superheroes. What's your have you dress up as a superhero? Nope. That's you, man, Mooch. It's just they're going to dress you up in a Spider-Man costume as many times as it possibly takes for you to understand where it closes up. Put it on backwards. Yes, you. I didn't have time. time to change it.
He
so I just went out there.
He put.
Oh well.
The costume guys Velcroed in the back, and he threw it on with the Velcroing in the front. So he had to take the mask and turn it. I don't know how the hell you put that on within the 3-minute commercial break, but look forward to more fun times, man.
Year, but I lost about 10 or 12 pounds, Rich. You're gonna be proud of me.
Okay, Mooch. All right.
Yeah,
so
I'm just trying to I'm going gray, but I'm getting skinnier. I hope I can keep this weight off. In fact, right after this call, I'm going for a hike up the reservoir.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, do you want me to say something if there's like a little bit of a snack and like 7:30 in the morning snack, like the blood sugar drops? You want me to say something so you don't need it?
We got to talk about our trip to Israel, don't we, Rich?
Sure.
My trip and your trip, man.
Yeah, we both went.
We
didn't cross
paths.
paths.
That was so unbelievable.
Next year in Jerusalem, Mooch, we'll do that. Take care of yourself.
We should do a show from over there.
By the way, 1,000,000%. That sounds good to me. You be well. Take care. Love you,
All
Mooch.
right,
See you in a couple weeks.
Guys, I said hello.
I will.
And give them a punch in the arm for me. I'll see you soon.
Love you, buddy.
Steve Mariucci, everybody. Steve Mariucci. There he goes. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.